hope that everything is fine. So thank you and welcome in our Wise Crypto once again. Thank you. Hi, Julian. Can you hear me?
Yes, Monsieur, how are you? Yes, I can.
Yes, I'm good. Thank you for asking. How about yourself?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Are we
Okay.
getting ready to start?
Yes, definitely. I can see a lot of people. They're just waiting to hear from you about the IXSwap, and also I think they will get more knowledge about the RWA asset.
Great.
Okay.
We're looking forward to sharing. There's a lot to go through, so
Yes,
no,
definitely.
there's a lot to go through.
Uh,
Yeah, but I think it would be important to really, dive deep on all the topics. And there's a lot of there's a lot going on. There's a lot of
yeah.
confusion. There's a lot of opportunities. There's also a lot of challenges. So it'd be good to really share as much as possible with your community so they get better, you know, um, get deeper experience and knowledge and become, ultimately better investors in the space. And that's hopefully a positive they can come out of it.
Yeah, so guys, don't miss the chance actually. Like I can say where you can get more knowledge about the crypto industry, RWA asset and so on. So I think we are ready to go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so officially you're ready, guys. Thank you. And thank you once again, Wise Crypto, for this arrangement with them actually. And also today we have the Julian Kwan, which is, like the CEO and co-founder of IXSwap. And also, guys, like as I mentioned today, we have a lot of things to discuss actually. So stay tuned. So first of all, I would like to thank you, all of our community members, and also today the like topic you can say the future of institutional finance that is tokenized and IXSwap is leading the way. Definitely, I really believe that. And also, RWA, that is tokenization, transform the physical asset like the real estate or art into the digital tokens on the blockchain, making them easier to buy, sell, and trade. So I think this process democratized access to traditionally illiquid the assets and enables the fractional ownership. And also, RWA tokenization is one of the largest market opportunities in the blockchain industry with a potential market size in the like hundreds of trillion of dollars, which is I think and also they're growing so fast nowadays. And also, I can say that is the RWA asset market is just growing, and also with an increasing number of projects looking to tokenize a wide variety of assets, including the cash, commodities, real estate, and much more. So I want to get back, Julian. So, Julian, first of all, could you just say a bit about yourself? I like hope that you have a lot of experience in the crypto industry and as entrepreneur. Could you share about your journey and also what were some of the pivotal moments that you lead you in the blockchain and also RWA space?
Yeah. Thanks again for hosting us. Thanks to Wise, Logan, and the team, Mishu. Thanks everyone for joining. I know you got very busy lives. Hope this will be a really good one for you. So just a quick one. My name is Julian Kwan. I'm co-founder and CEO. I have a couple of other co-founders, and we have a fantastic team. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I just realized today when I was getting an MRI scan, I'm now 47. So this is the seventh startup I've done. All based out of Asia. I was originally from Australia. I spent 13 years in Shanghai and Beijing. I built the first boutique hotel there and had a media company, one of the first SMS advertising companies, and done a whole bunch of real estate developments, and then moved to Singapore to get into the online investment space back in 2014 or so. Singapore was trying to become a fintech hub, and I wanted to develop a business that was online and focused on real estate and private equity because those industries were huge, had really high quality institutional assets, but they were very much only for wealthy institutional credit investors, and none of them had actually been impacted by the internet yet. So this was the play that we started out actually on the InvestorX platform, which is a sister platform of IXSwap, and that was the first platform in Asia focusing on RWA. We've had a few different names for this industry: security token, digital security, STO, TSO. Now it's RWA. But so back in 2018, we saw the very first terminology ever being used for the STOs, and we immediately thought, in a world of digital currencies, we need a world of digital securities. Everyone's going to want to trade everything on their apps. Stocks, bonds, stable coins, real estate, startups, everything. So the way that this would happen in our vision many years ago was Web3 would grow, cryptocurrency exchanges would grow rapidly, DeFi wallets, DeFi ecosystem, the tech, the products, the people would get better. And ultimately, again, way back before anyone had even heard of RWA, we went, let's go full tilt into this. It was extremely challenging, and we were literally the first. No one really knew what was going on. A lot of the ICOs were failing. A lot of the ICOs added securities features like guaranteed returns and yields and all these things, which is one of the reasons security tokens and RWAs were kind of born, because they were different from utility tokens, and they had securities properties. But because they had securities properties, then you needed licensing for this. So we were like, all right, well, let's add an exchange license to our broker-dealer license, and let's build an infrastructure that anyone who wants to issue an RWA set and issue that legally compliantly, because you can't do this completely on DeFi with zero licensing. That's just still illegal and will be for a while, maybe forever. And so that was how we got into it. And in 2018, there was worlds of confusion. There were terrible products. There were a lot of people talking about it, and then behind the project, there was nothing there, and there was no infrastructure. You need broker dealers, you need custodians, you need exchanges to issue, trade, and custodize RWA assets. And today, RWA for us is equities, debts, real estate, private equity, shares and startup, commodities, treasuries. These are all the RWAs we focus on. There are another subset like collectibles and art. That's not our focus. The biggest industry in the world is the securities market and the real asset world. That's the biggest opportunity. So anyway, that's what we did. And what we found out after 3 or 4 years, once we'd gone and got an exchange license and had everything there, and we built on public chains, and that was another unique element to our strategy and our structure, which no one agreed to for many, many years. If you're in this industry back in 2018, you had private blockchains like Hyperledger Fabric and R3 Corda, which was owned by 42 banks. They were trying to tell everyone that RWA must be on private blockchains. We didn't believe that. And the one reason we didn't believe that, because none of the innovation was there. There were no developers there. There were no assets there. Bitcoin, Ethereum, NFT, DAO, stablecoin, everything now, RWA and chain, is on public chains. So all the way back from the beginning of the time in the space, we thought about the end game will be Coinbase users buying RWA, Crypto.com buying RWA, whoever, Robinhood users buying RWA, interactive brokers, everyone, banks, clients buying RWA. So in that instance, when we got to 21, Aaron, who's one of our co-founders, he joined us. And at that point in time, 2021, there was zero liquidity solutions for RWA. So, and that was one of the big bottlenecks. And what we looked at was the history of the cryptocurrency market, which will be summarized, in how I'd summarize that is up until 2017 or so, everyone traded on sexes because there was liquidity. That was the bottom line. Decentralized exchanges and the DEXs had no liquidity and they had no volume and they had nothing. And so they sounded really cool and interesting, but no one was there. So what happened in that kind of pivotal moment in the era of cryptocurrency, 2017 or so, you had the very first automated market maker models, which is the market making liquidity solution behind Uniswap, PancakeSwap, all the swaps today, the DEXs today, they all use this system. And the simple explanation of that system was, why don't we use smart contracts, and then anyone with 2 crypto can start a liquidity pool. And then the platform, let's just use Uniswap, they weren't the first, but they're the biggest. Then the platform will now have a liquidity pool, and the new investors can come and buy and sell this token, and because investor A created the liquidity pool, and investor B comes and starts buying this token on Uniswap. Because investor A provided liquidity, then Uniswap's going to share the liquidity fees with him. That's the kind of the concept. But and what it meant to the industry, which is the most important thing, it meant that any single token launch can start a liquidity pool. And this was the pivotal moment, and this was the real value proposition. Forgetting the algorithmic, forgetting how it actually worked, this was the actual killer use case. And Uniswap's still today one of the best in my mind, top 2, 3 ever things created in DeFi, full stop. Well, the AMM model, let's say. Uniswap's winning the volume game, but there's others. But the point of that was thousands and thousands and thousands of cryptocurrency ICOs who couldn't afford $1 million to list on a big SEX, or even hundreds of thousands, because they were just getting started or they were too small. They started their first liquidity pool. And that's the magic of the DEXs, right? And now, I just read this week from some report that certain big tokens, it's deeper liquidity on the DEXs than the SEXs, right? So it's become phenomenally successful. The reason I'm telling everyone this is because that's why that story about the development and the growth and the whole DEX growth story in crypto, married with the RWA industry problem in 21 when there's zero liquidity, is why we built IXSwap. So IXSwap was conceived as like, let's see if we can build a platform that looks and feels like Uniswap, not to copy their brand, as in looks like a DEX, right? User experience, simple, clean, beautiful. But because they're RWA, most of them are securities, at least, again, for the rest of this talk, our RWAs, they're securities, right? So for the RWAs, they need, like, to issue it, you need to issue off a broker-dealer that's got token technology. To trade it, you need to either trade it through a broker-dealer or trade it through an exchange. Custodize the real-world asset, you need a securities custody license that has the technology. So we then embarked on that mission to say, let's build a Uniswap for RWA. We believe that everything's going to get tokenized. Larry Fink's backing us up, the CEO of BlackRock. Every government will move their share registries to tokenization, better, faster, cheaper, more transparent, all the benefits of blockchain. And this will be the rails for everything, right? Cryptocurrency, meme coin, NFT on the left, RWA on the right. And so we embarked on that mission to build that, and that's what IXSwap is. And it's incredible. It's an incredible platform. It was extremely challenging to build. No one's ever done it before. Still no one else has done it. You have all the goodness of smart contracts and DEX models, but then you have to run them through. First of all, you have to go get licenses, which take years and years and years. Then you have to run the assets through those licenses to make it legal and compliant. So we're super proud and excited by what we've built. There's a bunch of pools on there now. They're small. I think that, and they were very much just the proof of concepts, the tests. Even if you go back a year or two ago, all the assets in the RWA space there were no traditional finance assets. So I don't know the exact dates, and I'll just give estimates for the rest of this AMA. So if anyone wants to get really in my face about the exact date, I've got a lot going on. I'll do my best. Let's just say 2 years ago, all the RWAs were private market assets. What does that mean? Like a startup token or a real estate token. And then what happened, which is really pivotal for the industry in the RW industry, and why probably 90% of people on this AMA are listening, is because in 2022, circa DeFi meltdown number, I don't know, 3 global, there's hundreds of billions of dollars of stable coins, and they're sitting there earning no yield. So DeFi's in the toilet, crypto's going down. A lot of the DeFi problem is stake ABC token, get reward ABC token. When it goes up, great. When it goes down, it's like a house of cards, it falls apart. So that all fell apart. And then all these people were sitting on stable coins. Now, this is a whole story in its own right. Stable coins, which let's just say 100% are USDT and USDC. I don't think I have to explain that to the crew on this call. they pay 0% interest, right? And that's a function of them being, payment rails only, not wanting to be securities paired against lots of tokens. It's one of the most incredible business models on the planet, Circle and Tether. That's not why I'm here to talk about that. But my point is that a couple $100 billion of stablecoins earning no yield, along comes a bunch of smart people and said, hey, treasuries are paying 5 and 6% due to the economic situation. If we put those on chain, those guys over there, the bigger, the whales, the high net worths, the frequently traders, the crypto funds, the bigger percentage of those guys sitting on those assets will come across and buy them because they'll want to make something on their stable coins while they wait for the bear market to end or the bull market to start or when they're just between trades. And it was on chain. So that was the big pivotal moment for the RWA industry. At that point in time, all these massive things happened. The industry changed its name from security tokens to real world asset tokens, RWA. So we changed the name of the industry completely. We had the highest quality, if you will, or at least pristine quality assets, treasuries, money market funds, the top of Wall Street, right? Wall Street, Goldman Sachs grade, BlackRock grade assets being tokenized on chain, and people were buying them, and they've become the most successful RWA assets that we've seen so far. So that point in time, all the crypto industry went, oh, aha, these RWAs actually have a use case. What else can we do? All right, and that's when we're now in this vortex where meme coins aside, obviously hugely important, good, crazy casino component of our industry. AI aside, extremely interesting, important, lots of exciting stuff there. RWA, top three space playing because we have a product market fit. We have just scratching the surface. We're tokenizing public assets. Now it's coming stocks. We've got private market assets and we've just got this 30, 40, 20, $30 trillion kind of asset class. And so that was a bit long-winded, but that's the journey of how we got to today. And that's the beginning of this conversation.
Okay, thank you, Julian. I think you explained the whole summary through this just one question. So I don't know what I'll ask later. Yes, definitely, guys. They have their mission. Like, I can say at IXSwap, like they aim to transfer the financial landscape by enabling secure and compliant trading for all tokenized real world assets through the blockchain. And also, I can say that is IXSwap is the Uniswap for RWA and bridges the gap between traditional finance and decentralized finance by offering a regulated and innovative, like I can say, innovative platform for the trading tokenized real world asset actually. And also, guys, if you think, okay, why I need, why they need this kind of platform. So I can see the lack of liquidity in some kind of the private markets and the complexity of the tokenization have the long been barriers for the institutional investor. So they're going to be solve these issues. They're going to be tackle these challenges. And so Julian, could you share a bit about this? Like, what kind of problems actually you're trying to solve in this RWA asset industries or crypto industry through your IXSwap? I think you already touched, but just share firstly.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, it's a good point. But the main problem we are solving is that there's no market makers. There's no traditional market makers on any exchange that I'm aware of yet, and there will be some at times to market make real world asset tokens. That's one issue. Another issue is that you even so when you think about the tokenization of everything, you then start to see, if everyone on this AMA tokenized one asset, we'd have hundreds of assets, right? All different assets, different size, different shape, different location. It's impossible for 99% of people to get their assets onto a centralized licensed real world asset exchange because they won't be big enough. So when you think about NASDAQ and you think about, I don't know, someone who's listed like Robinhood, right? Think about a start, whatever, Uber, Robinhood. When you list, you're a tiny, tiny percent chance of listing, right? The super, super majority of startups will never ever list. And they'll never list on NASDAQ, basically because they're not big enough, they don't have enough revenue, they don't have enough money. There's no one who wants to market make for them, and the exchange is reserved for the biggest, best assets in the startup world to go IPO, right? The reason I use as an analogy is that the super majority of 99.99% of real world asset tokens now and for the rest of time won't ever be listed on a centralized real world asset exchange because of those issues, but they can all come to IXSwap. We don't care. As long as the asset is legitimate, the asset owner is legitimate, because we have licenses, we have to onboard people. But if people are legitimate business people, they can start a pool for any asset they want. That's why we are so excited by the platform. The scalability for IXSwap is actually bigger than Uniswap because there's going to be way more RWA than there is crypto. That might, upset some people, but again, the crypto universe is 2 trillion today. That's going to grow, of course, but the RWA industry is just starting, right? Really just starting at like $50 billion. And again, you can look across to the traditional finance markets and you can see a $30 trillion private market and public market, and then all the other derivatives and options and everything. So crypto can never, ever catch up. There's just too many other assets, right? So anyway, we love crypto, but the point is that was the problem. It was like, that's why we think we've got one of the best players in the space, and we were built to help everyone. There's all these platforms out there yelling and screaming and trying to say they're better than everyone else. We support everyone. If you support an RWA platform and you think they're amazing and they've got all these massive TVLs and everything, tell them to start a pool on IXSwap, because if they don't have any liquidity and trading, I'm sure some of their investors would want. We welcome them all, and that's how we sort of see that. We want it to be a friendly. So we originally built this to be a liquidity solution for our first platform, Investor X, because that didn't have any market makers and no one else did. But it was only built, that was just a start, and it was not exclusive by any means. So that's kind of the problems that we're solving. And then we've also now solving another problem, which is which is actually a bigger business problem for other people. So what does that mean? Today, if you're in our community already, and we'd love to welcome new people today that are excited by the project. We announced the biggest partnership in the history of the RWA industry from a significant and impactful, meaningful way. We partner up with the biggest super app in Asia. A lot of people who aren't in Asia might not have heard of it. It's the Line super app, and there's nearly 200 million users. We are the very first RWA partner. So now inside the Line app, all those users can come through and buy RWA legally and compliantly through IXSwap. So that's 200 million new users started looking at IXSwap today. It's game changing. The problem I'm solving, that I'm telling you we're solving, separate from our first business model, is we're solving Line's issue, right? The fintech platforms, and there's many more. Robinhood just bought Bitstamp cryptocurrency, but they're actually a stock company. They're much more focused or really excited on tokenized stocks, RWA, right? So the fintech companies and finance and Grab Finance and all those hundreds of millions, billions of users, they want to sell their users more things. And if they want to sell them RWA, we provide the license, the tech, the partnership, and a B2B solution that no one else on the planet really has. We've got a retail license. So that's on the fintech side. And on the cryptocurrency, on the SEX side, it's the same thing. We solve a problem for SEXs that are licensed to sell cryptocurrency. They have hundreds of millions of users. They're not legally allowed to sell RWA unless they go and buy a company like us or broker-dealer licenses, or they partner with us and we can facilitate the legal issue and trade on our platform, but their hundreds of millions of users can buy it. And I'm not going to say any more about that. Join our community in a couple of weeks. You'll hear something that's never been done before announced there as well. So they're the two problems. First one, let's create a liquidity solution for any RWA, all RWA tokens anywhere in the world. That was our main number one. Number two, now it's solving the problem for all the biggest companies in either cryptocurrency exchange world or fintech world that want to access these assets today and not wait 5 years to go get their own license, or a lot of them just can't get their licenses, or they don't want anything to do with licensing because it's extremely costly. It's extremely painful for compliance. It takes years and years and years. and it's just something that's not in their business model. So they're the two main things that I think everyone in the community should understand, because that really sets us apart. And that's taken years to be able to say that, years of licensing, years of relationship building. You don't become a partner to someone like Line. It's a listed company in America with 200 million users. That doesn't happen overnight, and that's not an easy selection process for them to do. And we won and we're successful and we're super excited by it. Same for any regulated sex that has significant investment behind it, doing everything the right way. 100 million users. They don't just partner with anyone, especially people just talking about how great all this is. They want to see the legal compliance, because they're not going to risk their business plugging into another company that isn't doing stuff the right way. So anyway, we've been doing the super hard work, the super painful work, but the necessary work. And now we're just coming out now this year. And the other part I wanted to add to that on the solution, it's more about what we're really focusing on in 2025. And I'll just get this out now because some people might have very short on time. IXSwap's now focused on institutional product and distribution channels. The reason, and we didn't start like that, to be honest. We started with private market assets, which is still an insane opportunity. We've put our focus to the institutional products because that's where the largest assets are at the moment. Probably may remain that way. I mean, the treasuries market's just infinitely big, et cetera, money market funds, et cetera. But it's also because that's what our partners want. All our B2B partners want these assets, and so that's what we're doing. Right? We're institutionalizing the platform. There's been a brand upgrade in the last week, if anyone's been around for a while, and we're going to keep announcing the biggest institutional partnerships in the world, and we're super excited.
Okay, yeah, happy to know. So people, you can go to their website, which is ixswap.io. You can check out, they have a lot of educational resources for you. You can make your own research. So as you know, the real world asset, the tokenization industry began with the introductions of the Bitcoin in 2009, and the development of the smart contracts in 2015. So these technologies created the foundation for the turning the physical asset into the digital asset. And also they have right now a lot of benefits. I can say that first of all, increase accessibility, then increase the liquidity, and also improve transparency. But may I know about from you actually, that is, how did the real world asset tokenization industry begin at that time actually? And also, could you share some major opportunities that you defined back in 2018?
Yeah, it was a lifetime ago. What's interesting, when we began as an industry, we were called STO, security tokens. It wasn't a name it was kind of a good name, I guess, to start with. I actually think part of the problem when we began, there were a lot of problems. There was no infrastructure. There's a lot of people, bad actors. There was also the US government, the SEC, basically said, hello, half of you ICOs are actually, we think they're securities, and we're going to fine you and throw you in jail. So that STO is illegal. They kind of really hurt us because a lot of people thought, oh, STOs are illegal, which makes no sense. It's like saying a share of real estate's illegal. How you buy it, who can buy it, what you do with it could be illegal, but the share itself can't be illegal. Doesn't make any sense. So anyway, we had this very difficult birth. Everyone saying these things are illegal, you'll get arrested from the SEC, and that could be true if you issued something without any licenses and all of that. But if you issued it legally on a platform like ours, there was nothing wrong with it, right? The MAS, the Singapore government, has been super pro RWA since day one. As long as you just follow the rules of the licensing, it's not that complicated. We actually got kind of somewhat shafted, I would say, by the fact that we had this incredible regulator here in Singapore who was very pro blockchain, stablecoins, everything, pretty much pro everything except, retailers gambling on meme coins, in terms of Singapore citizens. But they'll pro everything else. So then we, because of the response we got when we said, hey, we want to do security tokens, we've got this broker dealer and an online investment platform that was Web 2. we want to go Web3. Is that cool? And they basically said, yeah, as long as you just, don't break the law and follow the conditions of your license. So then we went, all right, full tilt. We're going all in on this, the whole company. We're not going to issue anything on paper. If people don't want to issue an STO, we're not going to work with them. And every other government will hurry along and speed along and try and follow, because now governments, what cryptocurrency digital assets RWA is doing, it's forced governments and regulators to compete at a much closer level, because everything's online now. Now, if you issue a real asset token, you're still issuing it in a country, and you still must issue it off a platform that has a license in that country. But it could be a global asset, and it could be for global investors. They just have to register and do the KYC of that country where it's being bought. So IXSwap is licensed out of Bahamas. InvestorX is licensed out of Singapore. And so we can launch any asset from anywhere in the world, for any investor, as long as they, pass basic KYC. But the point of this story was, we thought that it was so blindingly obvious to us that this would happen, and this would be the biggest opportunity in finance outside of crypto, or next to, I should say, in parallel, I should say, better way to do it. Let's go full tilt ahead, get all these licenses. I mean, these licenses are taking like 5.5 years. So that was also extreme pain. But then now, since halfway through last year, we finally at a moment where, and part of the other challenge, 2018, 19, 2021, no infrastructure, and then the assets were very poor. So then we finally got to that moment that I won't go through again on 2022, with these tokenized TradFi products with treasuries, money market funds. And we've had this, like, everything's lit up like crazy. So we're now, that was the history, but it's been very long and very, very difficult. And at the same time, through that was a couple of bear markets in crypto. So not only was it just hard trying to find good quality RWA, trying to get people to understand what's the difference between RWA and cryptocurrency, It's constant, constant, constant. So now we're really excited that most people get it these days. At least they get it a lot more. And not only do most people get it, but Larry Fink gets it and Brian Armstrong gets it. And the two, all the biggest cryptocurrency guys get it, and all the biggest TradFi guys gets it. So you've got BlackRock and Franklin Templeton and everyone on Wall Street being like, you've got to issue everything on chain, and every security's got to be tokenized, it's got to be done on public chain, and that's the way of the future go, right? I think Larry Fink only said that like 12 months ago. So before that, didn't say anything, or even said, this whole thing's crypto, Bitcoin's a scam. So that was just a big turning point for the industry. The other turning point for the industry, and again, the crypto guys have been looking at RWA for a very long time. For those that are newer to the industry, in 2021, FTX, Binance, and Bitfinex all launched tokenized stocks, and then they took them down because they had no licenses. If they'd worked with someone like us, we could have helped them, which is now we're doing with centralized exchanges and fintechs. It's taken 3 years. At least we finally got here. But that was happened. So you're already seeing what is coming to cryptocurrency 3 years ago. But it has to be done properly, and it has to be done through licensed entities that have the tech, as well as the innovations and the teams and the products. Right? So that's kind of the history, kind of in a nutshell. Now, I think it's probably value to also talk about what's happening sort of right now, just holistically. Like, RWA became this hot thing like 6 months ago in the crypto space. So there's a difference between a tokenized treasury RWA token, which is a real world asset, call it equity token, versus a cryptocurrency like Maple or Syrup token or Ondo token, even IXS. They're cryptocurrencies they're RWA platform utility tokens, right? So they're cryptocurrencies, they're utility tokens. A lot of people don't understand what I just said, but they're two different things, right? You got cryptocurrencies and you got real world asset tokens. And so what's happened in the last 6 months, which has been very confusing for communities, is that hundreds, if not thousands, of RWA projects are launching. That's fine. That's great. We like to see innovation and new products. But the problem is, for those guys and girls, is that they've got it's a long road ahead, right? Again, most of them, the ones that I'm talking about are all securities. They've got a fantastic PowerPoint, and they're raising money, and they're doing an ICO utility token launch, and then they're going to go get licensed and build everything. But you won't know if it works for years, because most of them, nearly all of them need licenses. even if all of them apply for licenses, a very small percent will actually get them. And then therefore the platform won't be useful. Therefore those tokens won't be useful. I'm not saying anything negative. That's a fact. Some people like to FUD our project when we talk about facts. But anyway, I'm just sort of saying that the point is that what's happening right now is there's tons of different projects. People need to be aware about the difference between, I'm buying a treasury token or I'm buying a cryptocurrency that's a utility token of an RWA platform. But at the end of the day, we've got this massive tailwind of momentum for the industry. We've got players like Ondo way out in front with tokenizing treasuries and et cetera. And, we're chatting with those guys and a whole bunch of other tokenized treasury groups. There'll be some tokenized treasuries on IXSwap very soon. You can quote me on that. And then, what we are looking at there is an explosion of activity. We've got RWA protocol plays, like I guess Mantra's probably leading that race. And they seem to be doing a great job building a very strong community. On that note, when you issue an RWA token, the protocol is where the token's issued, but it's got to run through all these business services that are licensed, which is what we build. And we're open to integrating with more and more protocols. We've done Ethereum and Polygon. We've now got Base, because Coinbase is one of our investors. So you've got protocols, you've got like third-party service providers, and you've got a whole bunch of other things. And we want to work with everyone. We want to help everyone, because if they're all really issuing RWA, bring them to us. We'd love to start a pool for them and help their users get some liquidity that builds more use case for IXSwap, and it delivers more of our mission. And we're now running into a significant problem for us. It is a major problem and a very good problem, which is, we're building the biggest distribution channel in the whole world, full stop, in this space. So we need a lot more product. It's one of the reasons why we're also, now focusing on the institutional products, because, treasuries, money market funds, they're infinitely scalable to a degree. Hundreds of millions of dollars of them you can sell. You do really exciting, interesting products, which we'll continue to do. Startup VC funds. We've got the best performing RWA token, real world asset equity token in the history of the world. This tokenized fund, because there's a whole world of assets there, and some investors do like that. But that's kind of, and that's where we're seeing now. This year will be this year will be a consistent growth of on-chain real world asset tokens issued. You'll be able to see that RWA.xyz, STM Markets. They're the two guys that you need to follow. You can follow to watch this, and then with that we see our surge of growth for our platform, and then ultimately something that I like to say, because I want to be proven wrong. At the end of this next cycle here, we're going to have a lot more stable coins. So if you think about 2022, when I said there was a couple of $100 billion of stable coins that are getting no yield, so they start buying tokenized treasuries, and voila, we've got this first use case for RWA, in brackets, real use case. Well, if we all believe, I think we all do here, I think we're all super bullish here, on the digital asset industry. If we all believe we're going to have a really strong, bull run, at the end of that bull run, there'll be a much larger pool of stable coins looking for the same thing. And actually, there'll be a lot more stable coins, and there'll be a lot more institutions holding them. And there'll be a lot more of those guys as a percentage that are not just going to let their stable coins sit in their wallet and earn nothing. They're going to search for high quality institutional RWA, and hopefully they buy most of them from our platform. But that's where this is going. And then at that point, I think we have the first real bull market for people, buying real world asset tokens. And I think for us and other players in our space, that hopefully we just power through the bull market, because then there's a real use case. And when the next crypto bear market comes, the real world asset tokens are really going to shine.
Okay, yeah, it was a really amazing discussion from you, actually. Thank you once again. So yeah, people, the RWA asset market is it's growing actually, but it wasn't the period of time. So I can see there are a lot of challenges right now, although like one of the major permissions of the tokenization that is increased liquidity, allowing the traditionally liquid assets such as the real estate to the art fine art, and also to be the bought, sold, and traded more easily. So, this is, I can say these are the like main challenges for now, but may I know actually that time, like when it was established in 2018 or like earlier. So what were the early challenges in the tokenization, like RWS, and also how they're improving?
Yeah, look, I think one of the main challenges was there were no buyers. um, you had a lot of people tokenizing, real world assets. They weren't very good quality. They thought it was a money grab. A lot of those guys thought that crypto was full of crazy people that wanted stable returns. And crypto is full of crazy people. It's also full of crazy intelligent people. And again, it was only till 2022 when people really got cottoned on. They connected the dots of these high quality tokenized treasury money market funds. Oh, my stable coin can go into them. It's safe. It's very low risk. It's a good return. And I wait for the bull market. So yeah, the earlier days are suffered with a complete lack of buyers, a complete wrong type of product, the wrong type of issuer, lack of infrastructure. And again, now all of that is coming together. So we would finally cross the bridge on that. And that's why, this is going to be a massive year for us.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Thank you. Happy to know. So people don't feel bored actually. If you have any question and query, just get ready. After the discussion, we'll take your question. Definitely, like if you have any question about the IXSwap or RWA, definitely we will take your questions. So thank you once again, Julian. I have a lot of questions, although.
So
So yes, may I know that is who were the early leaders that time in the space, and also what set them apart from other who didn't succeed that time?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's been a bunch of companies that raised hundreds of millions of dollars that don't exist anymore. Um, that was a combination of being super early. It was also a combination of being too tradfi, being too traditional finance thinking and not understanding the crypto space and just time. You need time. All this stuff takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. We're basically taking like the entire world of real world assets and saying like, you issue on paper for the last 100 years. We're changing that. Everyone's now on tokens. Like, get involved. So it's a big leap across that requires millions of companies who work in this space, from corporate secretaries to accountants to auditors to investment companies, to fund managers, fund administrators, broker dealers, like all these different people. And so you need the technology married with the licenses. So I mean, I don't know. I don't think I want to name any companies that have gone under. Those people a lot of them worked their asses off, and didn't get the results they're looking for. And as an entrepreneur, I think that's probably one of the most heartbreaking things you can do when you dedicate your life and your money and your energy and you sacrifice everything. And if it doesn't work out, it's really, really, soul destroying. So, you know, but they tried again, a lot of functions why things didn't work out. And I think now, who has worked out, like, well, we're working out. We managed to get through a lot of the dark, challenging times. I think a lot of that was based off our belief in the industry and the technology and our strategy, which was questioned 10,000 times and back. But yeah, I mean, what's positive now is that I think that those that are built towards DeFi, they're the winners, right? People think BlackRock's going to win RWA. And I think that couldn't be further from the truth. Why? Well, BlackRock's BlackRock, biggest asset manager in the world. I don't have anything negative to say, but factually, they've gone out and tokenized treasuries, and you've got to put $5 million in to buy it, and you've got to be a high net worth, and that's today. It'll change, but that's today. So if you're not going to put $5 million into their treasury product, then you're not going to buy it, which is probably nearly everyone on the planet, right? Besides like 150 people. So what that they'll continue on, right? The TradFi guys, the banks, the big investment groups, they'll move their underlying infrastructure from paper to tokenization, predominantly first to save money. huge cost savings on admin using blockchain to move securities. The second one is to try to make more money, maybe come up with some new products, but then they'll want to tap into new distribution channels. How I see it, and then this will play out over time, and there's a long, long, long way to go, is that Web3 essentially, Web3 and the community and Web3 and the users, it's it's built as the now and future infrastructure that we're going to use, and we can see it working, and it's about to explode. A lot of old people don't know what it is, don't care, don't need to use it, have money, just too much brain damage, don't want to do it, right? So if you think about it like that, and you think about in generations and users, all of these users and like, all the MEXC, a lot of the users, like a super majority of them, um, will never ever be welcome or want to join BlackRock, or they just can't, right? There's billions of people that cannot go and buy a stock on NASDAQ in America. I can do it. I'm lucky. I'm Australian. I live in Singapore. I can buy stocks, buy different accounts on my phone, but billions of people can't. That's one of the real interesting use cases for tokenized stocks. It's not for anyone in America. It's for everyone who can't get to America, and it's for everyone who's in Web3, and it's for everyone who doesn't want to go into fiat, and everyone who wants to use stable coins, and they want to get access to these assets. So my take on it is that Wall Street will tokenize, and it already is. And that's great, Yay, awesome. And we'll sell some of their products because they've got some great products. Their real opportunity is right in front of us with the 270 million users on Binance, the 150 million on Coinbase, whatever, MetaMask 40 million, don't know the number, who already understand buying and selling tokens, have a portfolio of cryptocurrency, meme coins, NFTs, and will ultimately, the super majority, will create a portfolio of RWA equity security debt tokens, because it'll be a balanced portfolio. That's what happens as people get more wealth. They become more experienced. They diversify. And that's exactly why the sexes that we're working with want to sell tokenized treasury money market funds, because they're at the opposite end of the spectrum than meme coins and NFTs. And we love all of them. But my point is, if a SEX has 100 million users and they're selling all this crypto and stuff, it makes a lot of, and they want to sell RWA, it makes a lot of sense to give them, the wealth management products, the stable products. What happens when we go in the next bear market? We'll buy those products, but let's do it legally and compliantly. So that's the kind of the state of the market, and that's why everything has changed. And that's one of the reasons why we're like laser focused now on the institutional side. And it's an evolution. You can still buy an RWA on IXSwap with $1 with a photo ID, no proof of wealth. So we've been able to achieve that legally. So that still exists. It's still a great proposition. But we're driving the business towards where the bigger kind of B2B opportunities are. And that's where we're seeing this now unfolding. And ultimately, the real competition isn't BlackRock winning. The real competition is BlackRock's not really a bank. It's not a retail bank. So the real opportunity is going to be when, Citibank pairs off against Coinbase. That's where I think the real big fights are coming, or Robinhood versus, those two players, right? They have 100 million users each. They've all got some crypto. They've now got some RWA, and they're all going to be hustling. So that's where I see the big war. But we sit in the nexus of that, and we working with everyone. So we're really excited to see the big guys finally wake up and say, "Oh my God, we got to get into RWA, and we've got to move now." But I mean, it's not for lack of trying. We've been calling all these guys for 5 years, and they didn't pick up the phone. And now everyone wants to call us. So it's great times, but it wasn't easy.
Yes, definitely. They need times, but I think they're just growing day by day. Like they're breaking their market cap history, like all-time high market cap day by day, I can say. And also the real estate tokenization sector that has emerged as one of the top performing crypto space in 2024. I can remember actually, and also like when I did Google actually, I can see like some of the largest financial institution and businesses, consulting firms expect that sector to reach as much as, like I can say 30 trillion by, 2030 actually. So
Yeah.
that's hope that, yeah, I agreed. I definitely, um, and also like, I can say this sector is gaining the popularity day by day, because that it bridges the and also the divided between the traditional and also tangible asset and the efficiency of the crypto and the blockchain technology. And definitely by digitizing the physical asset like the real estate, artwork, and music videos, manuscript, or anything else that you can think of, like RW tokenization unlocks the benefit much as and also such as the accessibility and liquidity that were previously difficult to achieve in the conventional market. So that's how they're growing. People are coming day by day, and also we are just waiting like for this boom actually.
Mm.
Um,
I've
yeah.
been waiting longer than everyone.
Yes, definitely. So may I know actually, Julian, like as you have your own IX swap, so how do you relate with like your project or your swap with this with RWA actually, and also how do you think that is like what is the main right now condition about RWA market actually, and how do you relate your project to this?
Yeah, I think well, first and foremost, like on-chain doesn't lie. So you can see a steady growth, which is really impressive as well, because as crypto bull market takes off, typically, everyone would get out of their stable coins and go and buy crypto. So we're seeing is like the on-chain RWA holding and different assets growing. We're actually just scratching the surface. Commodities, gold, carbon credits. These are multi-bazillion dollar industries, nickels, all these other commodities coming. The plus, as you said, real estate, private equity funds, VC funds, startups. Like, so now we have 50, 60 projects in the pipeline. It's asset agnostic, although, we've got, because like when you think about tokenizing a share, well, if you think about RWA tokenization, essentially what you're doing is tokenizing a share. Well, there's a share, could be a share of anything, right? Because that's how we as humans hold assets with other people. We have shares of things, right? So that's why it's such an enormous, opportunity. And I think where we'd sit was what we're seeing now, more and more platforms, more and more issuance companies, more people issuing their own asset. And at the end of the day, everyone wanting some kind of liquidity. So it all is extremely bullish for us and falls into sort of the funnel where we positioned ourselves in the first place. There might be other platforms like IXSwap one day. I mean, Uniswap's not the only one. It's certainly the biggest. It'd be good if there were other people doing it as well because we have more venues. Just like, there's a bunch of dexes and at some point more dexes actually help the industry grow. And, we'll see how that plays out. We've even had you know, the biggest banks in Switzerland and Wall Street wanting to use IXSwap and take the technology and all this kind of stuff. Because the actual model itself is, if you take all the blockchain away from it, but that's also critical. But if you go to the higher level of the context of what it is, it's like basically saying, if you're on Wall Street and you go, okay, so, one out of 50,000 startups can list on NASDAQ. All right. So there's, 100 startups and there's whatever, 5 million, startups that don't list because of all the reasons, cost, time, size. We've got a system where 500,000, 5 million can all now list and create a liquidity pool. That's what we've built. Right. That's the analogy that I use because that's why now that's our position in the space. As more assets come, more pools created, more use case drives further the value proposition of us, our token, the value, the revenue generation, all that kind of stuff. So look, all of it's super bullish for us. And we're now looking at gold, treasuries. There's a lot of really interesting aspects. Another reason why institutional quality real world assets are very valuable. Probably the best example I can give. They're valuable because of what they are originally. So tokenized treasury, 5%. High quality, etc. That's the value proposition. But what I meant is if you take something like gold. And this was I was enlightened on this topic by a friend of ours, Rich Teo, who's the co-founder of BUSD and Paxos. Paxos has done gold and one of the first RWA companies, really. But yeah, basically said to me a while ago, gold's one of the best assets for RWA, and I said, oh, okay, really? Why is that? So, well, because most people who own gold can't do anything with it. It's like most people owning Bitcoin. Most people don't want to do anything with it. Um, again, besides one or two of the lending platforms out on Bitcoin. So if you tokenize gold, people who own it can then use it as collateral to lend and borrow. So you can actually, in a tokenized format, this makes this a lot more scalable and real in terms of, if I have 10 gold bars in the vault, I'll loan them to you, and it just doesn't work. If I had 10 gold bars worth of tokens on my platform where it's verified and trustable, I could lend them to you, you would take them, or you might take them, or someone else would take them. So the point that I'm trying to make is the lending and the borrowing of these RWA assets, which predominantly will be licensed activities. And we've started our first project with Clearpool. It's a private credit space where you buy the RWA with us and you can use it to borrow against. This is another huge new growth area for the industry that's just kind of beginning. And so I think that's happening, but I think we've just got a very long road to get all these assets up and running. And then, that's why the team's completely slammed right now. The number of inbounds as well as our current business has just exploded in the last couple of months. So, but yeah, it's a good problem to have. And I think we'll just see more interesting products. We'll see higher quality products continually because people need to compete. If there's one gold token, people will buy it. If there's two, they might choose. And then as you have a normal, marketplace, things get competitive and prices and rates and all that kind of stuff. We're looking at private credit, private debt, which is really interesting. Super high quality institutional type plays that, potentially double or triple the returns of a treasury, with arguably just a little bit more risk. So these are all these products that are coming. There's new services coming. So we've got, you can launch on IXSwap. You can start a liquidity pool. We've now got lending and borrowing coming. We've now got, distribution to these huge partner channels for our issuers. And it just keeps growing. And, the last thing I'd say on this is that many years ago, I said, when I was trying to raise money for the company, someone said, what's this ST or RWA thing? I said, it's like tokenized shares. Everything's going to get tokenized. And, why is that good? Oh, it's immutable, it's transparent, da, da, da. We hadn't had IXSwap yet, we hadn't done lending. And they said, this is okay. It sounds all right. Where's the 10x value that makes people move to it? And I said, well, to be honest, I don't know what that is exactly today. I'm going back to 2018 when I first started looking at this. I said, but the only one thing I do know is that because of this technology, you will see an explosion of innovation and all the best stuff isn't even here yet. And I don't even know what it is today. Now that's becoming true in the RWA space, but it also now is true from a track record. Looking back at crypto, right? That happened. Same thing. We had Bitcoin many, many years, 2008, 2013 Ethereum, years, right? Before ICO boom 2017, 10,000 coins, and then NFTs, and then DAOs, and then stable coins, and then use case 4, DeFi, more and more. Now I've got Bitcoin lending. So you can see that, and new different types of products. So we'll see, the growth in volumes on the RWA dexes. IXSwap wants to be the leader there. We'll see many more people using RWA to lend and borrow. That gives it an insane use case. Then we'll see new innovative products coming out all the time. Like we've done a few world first products, but you'll have new forms of ETFs token, new forms of real estate funds, new forms of all these kinds of things, like as a token version, different types of debt and equity. Like the next ETF will be tokenized and it'll be called something else and it'll become $1 trillion industry. So we just got you believe in the tech and you just take a quick look back in history and you just peer over the fence and look at crypto, it's hard not to be super excited.
Okay, thank you once again. Thank you. Happy to know. And also, I have so many questions actually for you. That is, there are a lot of projects or there are a lot of, I can say swapping projects that are coming in the crypto industry. So if I say that is what you are different actually, what excites you the most about opportunities ahead for your IXSwap and tokenization? What is your opinion?
Yeah. Well, what's most exciting for me now is, BlackRock and Coinbase have turned up, right? That's what we needed. We needed institutional assets. We needed institutional size buyers and scale. And we're now here, right? We've got to that moment. So that's really exciting. And we're going to plug into as many of those platforms as possible. And then we're starting to see some real payoff for the years of licensing and all the development and the difficulty of being first in this and this and that, which is always really challenging. So I'm really excited by that. That's probably the main thing because all of that just means everything we've built, we get more and more users and we can grow. And it's not a matter of trying to survive all the mind bombs and all the crazy ways through the space and and it's a lot. And what I'm also excited by now is it's very easy relative to before to work out if people really have anything, right? Do they really have a license? Do they really have a product? And that's good for us as well, because we spend all day looking at all these different projects, thousands of projects we've looked at, and a lot of people don't tell the truth, and a lot of people say a lot of things that aren't necessarily exactly true. And then you spend all this time trying to get ready to the project, and then you don't do it because you're like, well, it's not legal, or we might get in trouble, or might win our license, or it might hurt our investors. So I'm excited by the just higher quality of products and people. There's more products, so there's more terrible products, but there's also more really, really good products. And the last thing on this is just probably some more just community advice. If you're going to start a crypto project, RWA should be the last asset type you want to target. Why is that? Because if it's really going to build something, there's going to be a bunch of real world assets. Real world assets, typically securities of real estate, private equity, they're highly sophisticated industries with high levels of regulation. So it's much easier to go and try and launch an NFT or a meme coin or something than try and do this if you're not going to go all in, and you've got to be willing to take 2, 3, 4, 5 years out of your life to apply for a license when you're not allowed to do any business because that would be illegal. All unknown territory until the day you get a license, but you might not get that license. So it's the worst part of the industry to play in from a ease of launch, but it's also got the biggest opportunity because it's real and, the market's out there waiting for us.
Okay, yeah, thank you, thank you. So people check their website, like as I mentioned, and also, there are a lot of types of investor. I can see institutional and also the retail also. So how do you like, so many people, they have just a few money, but they want to invest in different type of projects. So how does your IXS provide the value for the both institutional and retail investors?
Yeah, so there's two things. We are producing or launching more and more institutional quality assets. Institutional to me is something you get on Wall Street, Treasury money market. We all have more and more institutional partners from a scale and size perspective, fintechs and centralized exchanges. But when you take all that away, and that's, very important, we delivered one of our original promises was that, or mission, the mission was everyone should be able to buy RWA as easy and accessible as crypto. Meaning you could be anyone from any country, Indonesia, wherever, Germany, anywhere, you can register, and with a photo ID, you have to have some ID, right? No one who knows what they're doing, who's selling a real world asset token, i.e. security, uh, should be selling to someone that have no idea who it is, because they might sell it to a criminal and their whole project implodes and they might even end up going to jail. So to buy a real world asset token, if it is of anything you'd want to buy for a normal investor mindset, you must do some registration. And it's not because IXSwaps wants you to do it. It's because the people who are selling these RWA assets, which is not us, right? It's the real estate guy or the private equity guy or the startup guy who's tokenized these equity. He's the one you're buying it from. He's the one selling the RWA to you. He needs to know who you are. But so we've scoured the world and found a legitimate license regime that had, I think, what I call the adequate right type of KYC for someone to come and buy a real asset token. And that's what we have at IXSwap. And we make the minimum investments $1 USDT. So that's what one of the many things the platform offers, is that will remain, that will stay in place. You might be an institution and you might come on and buy $10 million of asset. That's fine. We'll serve you. But we also want, you know, anyone to be able to do that because that was our original mission. And we think that's very core to the ethos of blockchain and decentralization and the concept of cryptocurrency where everyone can buy them. So yeah, I'm so excited by that. Um, so we welcome anyone here to come join up and start, basically developing their real asset portfolio. That's the other thing. You want to start, buy some of this token, that token, different types of assets, see what you like, see what works. You can put in such a tiny amount, but you get to feel it and touch it, test it out, and then start, getting better and better each day.
Okay, so yeah, anyone can join, guys. Like, don't feel any hesitate. You can join. You can invite your friends and family to be part of them. And also, I can say that if IXSwap is powered by the cutting-edge blockchain technology, and that is DeFi innovation, including AAM and also AMM actually, and liquidity pools and others. So may I know the details, history behind this technology behind this year IXSwap, and also how does being the Uniswap for RWS mean in practical terms?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I try to explain it simply by saying, if you come to Uniswap, so jumping back to Uniswap or the DEXs, you can join a liquidity pool and, there's a smart contract and you put in, and, there's two tokens typically. Let's just talk in simple terms today. And, you get your LP tokens and, you can get a share of the market making fees. And then if you want your crypto back, you send back your LP tokens, take your crypto back out. So that's a very, very simple explanation. So IXSwap tries to mirror that user experience. Um, the key difference is that when you put your RWA tokens into the platform, they're being custodized by a licensed custodian. It's still all on chain. It's still, it's still the same kind of user experience, but the reality of the world is, smart contracts alone can't just sit there and custodize securities. There must be someone with a license, right? Anyway, so that's the main difference, really. Sorry. And the second main difference is when you're buying and selling on Uniswap and the DEXs, you're just buying and selling. There's send token A, buy token A, get receive token B, whatever. On IXSwap, that send in USDT, buy real asset equity token, that's running through a broker deal license. It's a similar user experience, UX UI kind of experience, but legally a security is being bought and sold, and it can't be just being bought and sold out in the universe. It has to be bought and sold by someone with a securities license that's legally allowed to buy and sell securities, whether it's an RWA or it's a piece of paper. So that's the main difference from, and I'll keep it pretty simple because that makes it easier for people to understand. But so it's a legal compliant version of Uniswap to do RWA. And if you go and do a little bit of digging, Uniswap had to pull down all their RWA tokens because they don't have licenses that IXSwap has. So, and there's a validation of what IXSwap is, because people are like, oh, well, why doesn't Uniswap just do it? It's like they're not allowed to. And they probably will never even want to, because cryptocurrency and securities are two different assets and they sit within two different securities regulators. They sit under two different regulations, typically two different licensing. It's not easy to just shove up different assets on one platform. It's why you have a stock exchange and a commodities exchange and derivatives exchange, and you have venues specifically built for a type of asset, and you don't just commingle everything. It's very, very complicated and complex. So that's how it works from an architecture perspective. And we try to mirror the best user experience that Web3 has developed and try to just keep it legal compliant, but and behind the system, there's a whole bunch of smart people and licenses to make sure that everyone's legitimate. And I think that's actually better for the investors, where they can buy something and they know that that company, that asset has been onboarded by us. We've actually gone and looked at who is behind this. Are they legitimate? We have to onboard them and check that they're, legal. Ideally, it's not a scam. There's a real asset. There's a real valuation. They've had a license to do this business. And that's why it's slower to grow than Uniswap, because Uniswap is okay, any crazy ICO, come to us very fast, very quick, then, as many as you want as quickly as possible. We have to onboard every asset. So those with a securities or capital markets background could appreciate what I said. A lot of the degens in crypto are just yelling and screaming, we need to move faster. So we hear that we can't move any faster. Like, the team works 24 hours a day, but there's a process we have to follow, and it just is what it is. But we are scaling up, and that's the main architectural um, differences.
Yeah, got it, got it. So yeah, guys, that is tokenization gives you the freedom actually to pick the individual properties without the huge upfront investment, and also tokenization allows a smaller investor to enter a high value real estate market, and also like a lot of opportunities, like you can convert any asset like music video, or you have your art, you can convert it. So um, I have just one question on Julian. Like, why is democratizing access to assets like the real estate, art, and private equity so important?
Um, Well, I think it depends on who you are. I think it's very important for asset owners, because it opens up new opportunities, right? I mean, um, you actually see now the likes of the likes of asset managers and bigger groups, Apollo and stuff out of the US, like, they've actually started with just institutional only, and I guess they feel like they've fairly maxed out that industry, and they're trying to access more and more smaller and retail investors. Um, if you think about um, a startup pre-IPO, this is probably the best way, thinking about advantages. A startup pre-IPO, um, you know, putting aside it probably raised a lot of money and it's doing very well. It has a certain amount of investors, usually not a lot. It's a private company. It might have had seed round, series A, B, C, D, but I don't know, 10, 20 investors. And then it gets to a level, where it wants to go public. Public markets, transparency, tradability brings a wealth of uh, opportunity. It brings a wealth of um, potential disadvantages with reporting and public market. Everyone's seeing the price. It's a little bit like running your own cryptocurrency, where it's live 24/7. But the point I'm trying to make is that once you go public, then you have all these new investors. So you potentially have a whole bunch of new investors that are using your product, and that's why they're supporting it and they're buying shares. So that's a big one. You also then can access the public markets. It's much easier to borrow money to grow your business as a public company than a private company. It's infinitely better. So there's a lot of benefits when you think about why democratize. I mean, I'm connecting democratization with public traded startup stocks, but there's just always people growing up or down, right? I want bigger investors or I want smaller investors, and there's pros and cons of all of that. I think one of the reasons we do all of this is, again, for us, it comes back to, well, one of the cores to crypto is it's completely democratization of, I mean, investing is a strong word when you talk about certain tokens, but let's just call it investing. It's democratized investing, and everyone can access this. And what that means is, without needing the approval of government. I'll say this, just not all this is 100% true, but sort of without needing the approval of someone to go and do this, typically it grew and it exploded. And there's a lot of people in countries that are very, very controlled, and the freedoms are very, very low, if you could say that, or there are no freedoms. So cryptocurrencies in a developed market is serving a whole new world of like payment functions and payment rails, and now RWA. In emerging markets, it's like a whole new world of assets that people never had access to. Accessing money, like, a lot of people find it very difficult to get a US dollar note, right? A fiat note in a lot of countries, it's very hard. Trade finance, buying and selling in emerging markets, like, a lot of them are a disaster, right? So money is a big problem, which is why crypto is working and growing. And then asset wise, like, most people have got no opportunity to access anything. So democratization is key, because we never started this, again, to build towards BlackRock. We built towards Web3 and emerging markets and all the other benefits around this. And that's what I think the core of it all is. And it's a massive world. There's a massive amount of assets out there. I think that I always say this to other founders when they're raising money and I said, we should tokenize some equity. I said, 100%. What's the point? I said, well, let me put it this way. I'll give you an extreme example. So and I'll use a Web3 startup, right? So a Web3 startup, I'm building, I don't know, protocol, and I want to raise $1 million, right? So, you know, pre blockchain, you'd go to VCs, only VCs really. Like say you wanted $1 million check, you don't want thousands of investors at VCs. And then the VC may or may not help you. And they give you the money, and they'll come and ask for a lot of other stuff, whatever. That was the only way it was done in brackets. So then I say, well, okay, but then what if you could have 1 million users, right, of your platform and get them all to buy $1 share each? And people said that'd be great, but that's crazy. Who could facilitate the cost of this? 1 million contracts on paper? No way. And it's true. There's no way you'd ever do that in paper. But now no one's ever had 1 million RWA buyers yet, but in theory, you could do that. If you had 1 million users registered, you could issue to those 1 million people one RWA token at almost no extra cost than issuing one, right? So, and now you've got the $1 million and you have 1 million users. That's insanely more powerful and beneficial to the company to have a democratized type cap table. And again, that's a very extreme example. You probably do $500,000 from some VCs and they negotiate the terms and maybe they open up doors and hopefully they help you. A lot of them are useless, but the good ones aren't. And then you have 500,000, users of your business on the very first day or two or whatever, the day you're doing the fundraising. So look, there is just like layers and layers and layers of all this stuff today. I know we've gone through a lot of questions, but we could go on in depth for much longer on each topic, but I don't think that's the best way to think about it.
Okay, thank you once again for answering my question. So let's talk about your token. I can see you have your native token, which is IXS, like an ERC20 token that serves as the utility token of your IXSwap, and also that can be bridged the Polygon network and also WIXS. So people, you can get their contract address. Just go to their social and just get it. So Julian, can you explain about the token utilities and also the role of your like token in your ecosystem?
Sure. Yeah, love to. So IXS is the native token of our platform, utility token. It's essentially our BNB, or probably, the Uni token for Uniswap. We use the token to as the core of the ecosystem of the platform. The utility token concept is core DNA to a lot of crypto projects. People I think forget that most projects, even ones that are building real businesses, but sorry, I should say most projects that have launched a utility token, a lot of them are rugs and crappy or whatever, but essentially most of them, the good ones, are building businesses, right? And it's the same for us. Like we're building a real business, a real sizable, scalable business. And we're going to put in, on top of all the basic use cases for the token, that you'd have from a utility token and benefits from holding and discounted fees. And we're just going to continue to build out more and more use case for the token. Essentially, one example that we're bringing out now, one of the big problems of DeFi and utility tokens has always been the concept that if you stake ABC token, you get ABC token rewards. So the concept was lock up some supply, try to drive demand, try to drive price up, and we'll give you rewards. The problem with a lot of those programs, problem with all of those programs is as soon as that bonus comes, often people just dump them. And so it becomes very negative to the price action of the token. And it doesn't actually long-term solve many things. It sort of works short-term. And that's why I want to call it DeFi meltdown 2022 and has been back in 2018, I think. When everything's just same token for same token, there's nothing really behind that. It works until it doesn't work, and when it unravels, it's a disaster. So what we're doing, we've brought out the first, if you stake IXS token, you will get airdropped real world asset equity token rewards. So this is a world first program. It dramatically different from staking IXS and getting more IXS, because I just explained the problem with that. So this is just one of many things in the pipeline. It's an incredible kind of use case. I mean, you can stake a cryptocurrency and you can get dropped equity in a startup. Like, we're just beginning this. Again, whenever you do the first thing in the world, there's all these things you don't know, and then there's all these things you think you know, and then you got to reset and reset and reset till you get it right. This is incredible. So we're actually getting all the issuers who come onto the platform to allocate a percentage of their offer, so a percentage of their real world asset equity token, for the airdrops on the community that starts taking tokens. This is just one really exciting, use case that we've got that we can do. Ultimately, I think our goal, more than anyone in this call or on the planet, is to drive utility and value for our token, because it's the core ecosystem of our business, and it was the fundamental foundation of how we got started. The token's now fully distributed, so that, I think, doesn't seem to hasn't um, been. Most people don't know that. I should say there's no drops coming. There's no dilution coming, unlike a lot of other projects out there. We're fully diluted. We just launched on MEXC today. We've got most of our volumes being on DEXs. Coinbase is one of our investors. We've got partnerships now with BNB, who's full tilt into tokenization. Same thing with a bunch of other players. But I think from a community perspective, we're the treasury, so we're the biggest holders. We've been holding on for many years to get to this moment. We start building the business. We actually didn't really want to launch 3 years ago. We did it because some of our VCs really wanted us to do it, and then they all just sold, and here we are today. We should really be launching now, because now's the real utility and now's the real use case. It is what it is. Not a complaint, it's a fact. But yeah, very excited to see what else we can do to drive that utility. We need to constantly be innovative, thinking ahead, driving the use case. And as more and more institutional assets come on board, we work out how to tie IXS into their offering and their use case. So yeah, I think ultimately one day, hopefully IXS acts in some way like a bit of an index for all these RWA equity tokens, because it's connected in some way on our platform, and we'll eventually have billions of dollars of assets. But yeah, very excited by that. We don't talk about the price. We've got a community channel that everyone's welcome to join. I think there's a bunch of traders that have their own price channel. We're just strictly focused on building the best platform in the space, and but IXSwap's very important to us.
Okay, thank you. Happy to know about your token. So guys, you can check out their website, and if you want to buy, definitely you can do. Julian, like in 2024, the meme coin, especially the meme coins, have emerged as a top performing crypto asset that delivering substantial returns that the outpace those the real world asset and also artificial intelligence. And also, I can say that in the 2024, the cryptocurrency market has witnessed a remarkable rise in the meme coin valuation. So this token, often inspired by some like internet culture or social media trends, even the Elon Musk actually. So in contrast, that is RWA and AI tokens, while experiencing the growth, have not matched the rapid appreciation seen in the meme coins. So how do you define this situation actually? And also, may I know that is the falls of meme or the rise of meme coins contract with the steady growth of the RWA market?
Yeah, great question. I think memes are great if you understand, what they are. I think that they're actually a lot better than a lot of projects, because again, we'll call everyone an investor, although a lot of them are gamblers. People buying them, it's a pure gamble on where it goes, right? Um, there's no white paper. Well, there's typically no white paper dealing any technology or any use case or any kind of trying to solve any problem. Um, So it's very simple. Now, I own a few meme coins. I know a lot of people don't like them. I know a lot of people hate them. Uh, I think they're like, well, first of all, they're huge and they're here to stay, and they're right in front of our face. I think it's important for any new industry, and memes have been around for a while, but holistically, I think it's very important for any industry to a lot of industries start, whether it's the internet, dot-com bubble or whatever, massive hype and speculation, big blow up, and then real stuff gets built, and then we get to phase two and we do that again, and then phase three. You actually, I was having a discussion with some of the guys that I know who are the very first Bitcoin buyers, or at least had Bitcoin at 25 cents. So um, they're as OG kind of as it gets. The point was is they get very upset about meme coins, the Bitcoin maxis. And, I said to them, first of all, it's innovation. First, there's millions of different products. There's 8, 9 billion people. You don't have to like it. Just don't buy it. But obviously other people like it. It's exciting. It's bringing some of them have got great communities. It brings certainly to decentralization. Everyone can access. Some people find it really fun. It's obviously very crazy. Um, and there's definitely a gambling element to it. But again, a lot of people like that. So, but then I just said, like, if Bitcoin was at 25 cents now, we wouldn't be having this discussion. Like, it'd be dead, done in the water. The reason why everything built from Bitcoin or Ethereum to memes and NFTs is because Bitcoin went from 8 cents to $20,000, $1,000 or $1,200, $1,000 back down, 10,000, 18,000, $100,000, right? So you actually need this speculative hype in some form for something that's so new and out there, right? So anyway, I think memes are insane. I think you know Donald Trump's meme. I don't that's an interesting one. I don't know. Was it just? I don't. Was it just to see what would happen? I don't think anyone thought it would do what it did. It actually sucked liquidity out of a lot of projects. I think ours included. Everyone wanted to punt on this memes. Um, And so actually a lot of people who have token projects don't like it. Obviously the ones that bought it and made a lot of money do. Um, but again, like, you can't control this stuff and it's just going to go on and it's going to evolve and the good ones will win and the most of the bad ones will die. So I'd say if you're looking at buying them, buyer beware. But you should say that about investing in absolutely anything. But memes, they're cultural, they're iconic, they're a part of the industry. And away we go, right? And they're here to stay. We'll see how that kind of evolves. Hopefully they become a bit more useful. But who knows? The other ones, I think you said AI. I think uh, we're bringing AI heavily in our business. I look at AI very intently. I think it's extremely exciting and it's absolutely wild and crazy the speed of what's going on. So I like some of the AI tokens because, real use case, definitely. Some of these will have real use case. And obviously we've seen the AI agents, doing incredible stuff, which is, AI and crypto are very, they're cousins in many in aspects. They're related, very, very closely related. But, I'd probably segue that into now with, love or hate him. I won't comment. Trump administration in power officially for the last 36 hours or whatever it is. Um, super bullish crypto, super bullish AI, and that'll be super bullish RWA. So I think these are all driving interest. I don't think I've seen a bit of the data. I don't think we've seen crazy new buyers. I think Trump's meme coin probably half of America now who wasn't in crypto went, oh, we should buy crypto. So he's probably second order effect brought in 25, 30 million new users or something. I don't know. It's only been one day, but look, it's more users, it's more capital, it's more opportunity, you need all that kind of stuff. And the ultimate beneficiary of all of this, if you think about it, at least the way I think about it is, it's RWA. Because no matter how much money you make on a meme coin or a Bitcoin, eventually you're going to diversify into something that's real world asset, because that's just how humans see it. And that just makes sense. You're not going to sit on 100. Most people are not going to sit on 100% of a Trump meme. It's worth $300 million today. It might be worth $10 million tomorrow, or zero the next day, or 600 billion. You're going to take it out. So RWA, and that's where IXSwap, I think, is nicely positioned. That'll just grow. It'll grow the on-chain real asset tokens, whether you're coming from TradFi or you're a DeFi investor. And that's why we also watch the stablecoin growth. And that was another part about the US, which I'd share with everyone. The US is just a monumental shift for everyone in the space. We took investment from Coinbase in 2021 because, they were bullish RWA, and we're like, okay, great. And then they just got attacked by the SEC for 4 years. They're not going to do anything else, right? Except fight these suits. And now, like, with USA coming on board, they want to own this space. And stable coins are the rails that everyone's using, US dollar stable coins. And the US government 12 months ago, before the election, already was becoming more aware that stable coins, US dollar stable coins, increase US dollar dominance because more people can get them that can't get US dollar fiat. And the more people have stable coins, the more US dollars around the world, the more things price, and the more digital assets grow, the more use case for USDT and USDC. And if we let these assets grow, US dollars will dominate the world. And that's what we want with Team America, right? So that's now playing out. I was told that by a super smart president of a crypto fund in the US who'd been lobbying Washington for the last couple of years. He's like, the biggest sea change already started like a year ago, with just people understanding this is good for America, if you will. And we're very excited by the US market. Actually, at the moment, you can't register as an American, but yeah, definitely looking at America very closely now, and working on some plans to make some entries over there. I mean, that's all I'm saying on that one. Very excited by America, though. Very excited. And then you can see the assets that are growing around the world, like it or hate it. US assets, treasuries, money market funds, stocks, etc. So anyway, we've got to play to where the game is, and the game is now definitely towards USA. We've had a surge of users on our platform, like the highest interest on our analytics of our new users to look at our socials and websites and everything is America. And yeah, we now have someone running the country there that wants to own the space instead of kill it. So very exciting for everyone in space.
Yes, got it. Yes, definitely. Like United States cryptocurrency markets are the largest and most influential in the world. As I know, like the Trump's wins made a history in the meme coin industry or crypto industry. Julian, although I had a question about this, I think you already answered. Yes, definitely. I'm not going to ask this, but may I know about your future plan? Like, I think you have a long-term plan for your IX swap. So may I know?
Yeah. So our plan was always to build this fast, efficient, friendly, legal compliant home where you, me, everyone on the phone call could bring their real asset token, doesn't matter what industry it's from, and start a liquidity pool, breathe life into the asset, and then build from there. And we saw that's been the initial plan, and we remain on target for that. The second plan, I guess, roadmap is we spent years cultivating relationships and developing the right plugin from a technical perspective and a legal perspective to be able to provide our assets to these massive B2B companies, whether they're fintechs or sexes or banks or whatever. So we've got our first big partners on board, and we've got several more right in the pipeline. So that's our other major plans. Is to develop more of these distribution channels and ultimately build out the biggest distribution network we possibly can, but that exists in the space, which will create the largest liquidity which will drive the business further, which will drive the use case for the IXS token that will remain key to our plans now and forever. And so the last one, which we've already touched on, is, we've put now and then into the future, we'll continue to look for and launch interesting, private market assets, but we will have a suite of institutional products that are of the highest quality, that are infinitely scalable, that we can plug in and drive huge volumes for the millions of users on ours and our platform partners. So they're the key three kind of pillars for us as we move forward here.
Okay, wish you good luck for the future. Just keep doing and keep building. I can see like people are okay. People ask a lot of questions in our comment segment, so people know. I will take your question one by one. So Julian, may I know about the future of RWA, like RWS actually? So what do you see their future plan actually?
I think we'll see more of what we've seen now. So a couple of years ago, you couldn't see much. Now we'll see more of these Wall Street assets. We'll see more complex assets. So we had treasuries and money market funds. We'll see more probably structured products, derivatives, option type products, like that. Definitely more sophisticated types of offerings are coming out on that side. And there'll just be there'll just be more and more volume, because eventually, the banks will just tokenize all their assets and even if they're not selling them outside the bank, they'll just sell them to themselves, and they're usually, they're millions of customers, so they'll just keep growing. So all the TVL will keep churning on. And then I think, you'll start to see RWA tokens popping up on cryptocurrency exchanges in partnership with us, hopefully, or if there's anyone else like us out there. DeFi wallets will want to access this stuff. Fintech platforms, payment apps, anywhere where there's a big pool of users and they're on a platform, they're on a digital platform. That's where this is going. We will be all wanting to open our phone and not get hacked or scammed, but buy and sell Bitcoin to real estate to stablecoin to yield product to private credit to startup back to US dollar to buy a cup of coffee or whatever it is, right? That's where we're heading. So I think that you'll just see this massive convergence on the RWA space, because it's a rail now. It's an infrastructure rail that everyone can use, everyone can access. On a piece of paper, no one can access that except the person who's holding the piece of paper. So it's completely blown up the whole concept of what was possible. And now we're being validated by Robinhood coming for crypto, Coinbase coming for RWA, Crypto.com coming for RWA, banks coming to sell, Singapore banks are selling cryptocurrency. Sorry, now Wall Street banks are selling cryptocurrency. So all the TradFi guys are coming for crypto, and all the crypto guys are coming for RWA. And we're sitting right in the middle of that. So it's just going to continue to grow and hopefully be very explosive.
Yes, definitely. Like as I mentioned earlier, they'll touch their highest value in future. So, Julian, as an entrepreneur or as a CEO of like IXSwap, what's your advice for investor that looking to get involved in RWAs or IXS?
Sure. Well, for us, my advice is usually the same. We'd love to welcome you to our community. We are huge on education. We're huge on transparency. And we've been putting out RWA real world asset tokens, first in many categories and continue to do so. And we want to protect the investors by choosing the best products we can find in the market. And, we have this amazing loyal community, that's growing every day. So that's one. And then, you can register and buy a real world asset for $1 USDT. So you can't complain that it's too expensive or you don't have the money. The reason that you should do that, apart from growing our community and helping us grow the industry, is this is a journey, right? Cryptocurrency is a journey. Crypto assets, NFTs a journey, DAOs are a journey, stable coins still a journey, but not as much. As in, you need to learn and work out what it is, right? And it's much more complex than you always think it is. But the only way to really learn is to actually do it, right? So you got to put your money where your mouth is. You got to put your stable coins where your mouth is, and go and buy a real asset token, put it in your wallet, go, aha, actually have one. Everyone's talking about it, but I have, and what's it doing? And how does it work? And do I even like this? And do I just sell it? And do I even like this real estate token? Maybe real estate's not my thing. I prefer treasury. No, don't like treasury. Maybe I like startup tokens. Ooh, I like startup. I'm going to do more RWA startup tokens. So it's just like investments in general. You have to, everyone's on a journey because no one knows everything, right? You've got to learn about, if you're a TradFi guy, you learn about bonds and then you learn about stocks and you learn about commodities and different types and then structured products and derivatives and all, like there's this whole different thing and it just goes on and on and on. It's the same for RWA. It's like we now have this new technology layer married with these $1 trillion asset class paired up in parallel with crypto. We're seeing an explosion of activity. We're going to have new investment products you've never seen before. We're going to have ways to use these assets that have never been possible for AMM, liquidity pool, you know, out or lending and borrowing. You've got all these new venues to sell them on or to buy them on. There's going to be bazillion new users coming in to use them. So, like, get in there and get started because this is like, I've been in the industry as long as anyone, and every single day I learn something new. So it's like, get in there, get your fingers dirty, get started, right? If you own crypto, everyone knows that's a journey. Oh my God. Like, and it's pretty scary at times. And it's been, you know, full of ups and downs, or for most people, for me at least, every single day still. It's the same thing for this. So here you now have an opportunity, just like Raoul Pal used to say on Real Vision. um, you know, you got a chance to front run the institutions on the crypto side because they weren't here yet. Now they're here, so that may or may not be over, that opportunity. It's the same thing for RWA. You've got a chance to front run, you know, nearly every human on the planet because the amount of people in this space right now is tiny. And you can put yourself at the front of the learning, the education, the understanding. And we all know from the history of tech, the tech industry, typically those that were very early investing, learning, trying, getting burnt, winning, losing, winning more, hopefully winning the most. They are the biggest winners, right? This is a technology evolution married with an existing multi-trillion dollar asset class. Those that invest earliest sometimes will feel the most pain, but then they're often the guys and girls that win the biggest. So we offered that up to our community to come in and 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 join us. You know, join us on the journey. Help us grow. We're a very vibrant community, and you know we want to be, you know, the leading one of the leading projects in the space. And it still feels like day one for us. We've been doing this for 6 years, but it's really the opportunity that you can now see. Hopefully, we've brought more color to that on today's chat. You can see it really coming in of real substance now. And so, and again, if you like other projects and you want to, you can go in and see if you like their assets, go in and see if they've got any assets, buy them, sell them, get burnt on them, try it out, you know, risk what you can afford to lose. If you want to buy a bunch of RWA utility tokens, do that. It's fine, whatever. There's some good platforms there. Um, and then, yeah, you know, stay tuned for more and join the channels. And we're highly active. We put out 3 or 4 announcements just today. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I think it's time to take some questions from the community. So they are waiting. I don't want to make it more longer, but before that, one last question. Yes, definitely.
So
Yeah, one last question actually. Like, how do you or your IXSwap actually, I can say, like such as stay ahead in such as the first page on the competitive industry?
Oh, that's a good question. Of kind of, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to stay on top of everything. I mean, look, I think you've got to be excited and curious and, you know, really passionate about this whole space, right? Otherwise, you will burn out in one day. There's new things happening every day. There's a vortex or an absolute jet of engine of new information, new products, new things happening. Um, yeah, we'll just try to balance. You know, AI. We're bringing a whole bunch of AI into our business. We've hired our first chief AI officer to help the teams implement AI. We're not an AI building company. We're using the tools in AI to build our RWA platform. We're all over that. Just even trying to keep a finger on that is keeping me up at night. Yeah, look, we try to company channels are constantly sharing all day long, news articles, PR releases, new technologies, new products, new partnerships. We have a fantastic team that's really, I'd say, interested in what we do and really wants to make an impact and wants to be at the forefront of this entire new industry and build world first things that will kind of resonate, hopefully, throughout the investment world, for many, many decades to come. So yeah, it's really a mindset. It's one of the key things when we think about building our team and hiring people. It's like, do you own crypto? Have you lost any crypto? What exchange? What do you think about? Have you bought an NFT, DAO, blah, blah, blah? Like that's actually now more important to us than what they've done in the past that had nothing to do with blockchain, because we've just seen now all the successful people are the ones that are diehard for the space, full stop, and they like the job. I think we've got a great culture. I mean, the response has been good. We've got some great people, but they're all really interested, because if you're not interested, there's a million different jobs that are way easier. You can go and work out there, way less stressful, and that are not 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But yeah, ultimately, combination of all those things, try to read up, for an hour or two a day whilst trying to balance, the millions of things we've got to do at work. So that's how we look at it.
Okay, thank you, Julian. Happy to know about yourself, your experience, and also I think it was like amazing session with you. But I have just few questions left after this live, but I can take some questions from the live. So I hope that you are ready.
Yeah, sure. I mean, thanks for everyone for sticking out. I know we've been talking for a long time, but yeah, it's been great.
Yes, like community is everything, so we have to consider the community question also. So
Sure.
Rafa, right there, Rafa. Hey, Rafa.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for bringing me up. So I've been listening. It's been a wonderful EMA so far. So I just want to get this information, like with what's going on with the current movement in the cryptocurrency industry. So how do you tend to merge your projects with the bullish momentum currently on now? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we've got very, very clear goals, both on our asset issuance side and our partner distribution side as well for scale. So, I've done 25, 26 years of startups, and this is the seventh one, and been through a whole bunch of YPO, EO, these are organizations for founders. So I just try to bring in the best practices that I've seen across the years and learned, and I know that works. We've got other entrepreneurs in our company as well doing the same thing. So look, we've got to just stay focused. The other thing that happens in our industry is everyone has a 3-second horizon. So a lot of people are just focused on the token price. I understand the token's very important, but we have to think midterm. I'm not going to say super long term because things change a lot. And we've got a very clear plan, and we stick to that plan, and the whole team focuses on that. Every single department in the company has their own goals and targets related to the North Star of the company, which is the main target for us as a quarter, as a year. And we obviously need, the support from the community, and keep growing our community and seeing what we can do to help them to bring great assets, help them become better investors, and continue to grow in the space, and help other RWA platforms grow as well.
Okay. Yep. Thank you, Rafa, for your question. So the next one is Penry. Are you there, Penry?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, sir. Excellent question.
So where are you calling in from? Which
Okay.
country?
Oh, yeah, Bangladesh.
Oh, hi. We're not too far away.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay, sir. My question is, what does community feedback play in the development of your project? My question, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Oh, well, I think it's a balance, right? We serve institutional clients and, huge B2B partners. Obviously, how their business works, what they want, what's legal, what's compliant is very important. So that's one layer. Another layer is our businesses, licensing. We have compliance, we have reporting, we have onboarding, we have KYC, all these kinds of things. We have to make sure that we keep that very clean. That's very important. And then, we have the community. And that wasn't any particular order. I'd say they're all kind of equal side by side. Yeah, so the communities is key, right? Is key, a key part of our business, right? We have amazing moderators in our community that are 24/7. We are very active in our community. Myself and Aaron, the other co-founder, and some of the team are in the chat kind of as much as we can whilst, running business, all day long and all day night. And we seek feedback. And actually, we don't even need to seek feedback because everyone yells and screams at us all day long anyway with what they like and what they don't want. So, you don't want to be in this industry and space if you can't take either constructive criticism or outright abuse. It's better when it's constructive criticism, where you're not just complaining, you're making a statement that might be a complaint, but then you're backing that up with, and this is what I think would fix this, or this is what we could do to fix that, other than just, this isn't working. So look, it's a dynamic project that never was built before. This is the world's first, and it's work in progress. We're now building V2 version 2. Originally, we're on Ethereum and Polygon. Polygon, a lot of trouble. I mean, I don't want to say anything negative, but it's given us a few issues. We're now on Base. That was community driven, as well as Coinbase is one of our investors, as well as Base is doing really well. V2 new function features. Some of the assets coming out have been listed because that's what community kind of voted for. So it's just a balance. And we don't turn the project off. It's just on the whole time. Telegram, website, X, everything. So yeah, we're open. What I would say, we're always open for constructive criticism, but just yelling and steaming about stuff that you may or may not know anything about, or something you don't like, doesn't really add much value to the community.
Wow, thank you, sir. Thank you. Very nice answer.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for the question.
Tannery, for your question. Yes, definitely. So next one is Dennis. Are you there, Dennis? Hey, Dennis.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, ask
We
your
can hear
question,
you,
please.
Daniel.
Okay, so my question is, ambassador play a very important role in every project. Do you have an ambassador program? Thank you.
Yeah, I think if you just post that on the Telegram chat, the moderators will be able to direct you towards that. Off the top of my head, I haven't checked on that recently, so I'll let them answer. I know we used to have one. So yeah, just please ask the channel, but do never take a direct message from anyone that claims they're from our company, because we will not direct message. And we're a pretty well-known project, so there's a lot of scammers, as always, hacking. So only ask questions in the community, the official IXSwap community, which the links are related to this chat here, and then only take the advice, and then do not answer direct messages. Just wanted to say that, reiterate that. There's people getting scammed 24/7 in the space. It's an unfortunate truth. Thanks for the question.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you. Yeah, thank you, Dennis, for
thank you.
your question. And don't forget to join their community and to follow their social. Next one is Simon. Are you there, Simon?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, ask your
Hi,
question,
Simon. How are
please.
you?
Yes. My question is that in what ways does IXSwap visions of being the Uniswap for RWS address the liquidity challenges in private markets, and what impact could this have on traditional finance sectors such as real estate, venture capital, and private equity?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I mean, I think maybe the best way to answer it is that we think the impact on private markets is bigger than the impact on public markets. So public market is already publicly traded, liquidity, etc. So let's just think about a public stock on NASDAQ. Whereas a private company, maybe even my company shares, they're private. You can't trade them anywhere today. They're on pieces, paper. And so private equity, private real estate, venture capital, startups, the private markets are 6 to 8 times bigger than the public markets. Most people don't know that unless you, work in the industry. But so there's a bigger opportunity by somewhere between 6 and 8 times to tokenize the private markets than there is to tokenize the public markets. So that's the first part. The second part, though, is that tokenized treasuries and public market assets have a very strong product market fit. We're going to do a lot more of that in the second part. The third part is that the true beneficiaries of real world asset tokens as an industry is these private industries, because they're on paper and they're in this infrastructure that is old, hasn't changed forever, hasn't used the internet, hasn't gone digital. So, IXSwap is serving both. Our original focus was the private markets, but to scale the business and move with the times and deliver what's being demanded from us, from our institutional partners, is we've got to, add a lot more institutional assets. And then ultimately, you can start a liquidity pool on IXSwap with either. So we're asset agnostic, where you can do real estate and startups, but you can also do, treasuries or a money market fund. So the point of IXSwap was, whatever you tokenize at the end of the day, you can come with actually, I think 5,000 minimum on each side. So you can start a liquidity pool with $10,000 of real world asset tokens. Why is that sort of fundamentally game changing? Well, because again, if I just use startups as an example, startups list on NASDAQ or you don't do anything, right? You stay private. So there's hardly any that ever get to do that relative to how many startups there are in the world. Now we're saying, what we're saying now is every startup can tokenize, every startup can start a liquidity pool. It might be small, but it starts, right? And then you build from there. And we know this works because we saw this work in the DEX model for crypto. When the AMM and the DEXs decided to start using that automated market maker model and said, hang on, don't worry about the last 5 to 10 years. We didn't have liquidity. Now we've got a liquidity solution. Anyone with tokens can be the liquidity solution and everyone can start. And then people thought the same thing in 2017. Okay, well, whatever. That's not, okay, it's pretty small or whatever. And now you look at the volume. So that's how Uniswap fits into this whole puzzle. It sits as a core piece that everyone could use. Not everyone's going to use it, but everyone could use it. And it allows anyone to start a liquidity pool, which is what has driven, 99% of crypto token projects is having some form of liquidity. We provide that to the entire RWA industry.
Thanks, man. You briefed my question so well. Thanks.
No worries. Thanks for listening.
Yep, thank you, Simon, for your question. So the next one is Justin. Are you there, Justin?
Yes. Okay, so my question is, in what way does IXSwap bridge the gap between traditional finance and blockchain-based solution to democratize access to financial market?
So in simplicity, traditional finance is, a world of investments, right? Real estate and treasuries and all that. DeFi is, the buying, selling, loaning, borrowing, trading of cryptocurrency. And, crypto is the democratization of all of that. So this is what we do. We take traditional assets, real world assets, we put them on the same infrastructure as DeFi, blockchain, lending, borrowing. We have licenses, and then we allow everyone to buy them for $1. So that was a great question. And that's how we stitch it together.
Okay, thank you, Justin, for your question. So I can see near about 100 plus requests. So guys, this is not possible actually to take every one question here. We are sorry for this, but if you have anything else that you want to know, like you want to learn about the RWA, you can DM on their social. Julian will be there. They will narrate you everything. No worries. So thank you, Julian, for having here. But I'm not done yet. Actually, I have few things to know from here in. Like, if you
Sure.
could go back to like 2018, what advice would you give yourself?
Honestly, I just say just buy as much Bitcoin as you can go sit on the beach.
Yes, definitely. I agreed.
But that aside, related to um, what would advice I mean, in relation to our business, um, we've tried to do everything possible to um, be innovative and deliver this platform and this value proposition. There's been days that were, near death and back, um, just insanely difficult. I mean, and then it's been hard for a lot of people, and then bear markets and this and that and crazy and governments and regulations and FUD and you name it, hackers and scammers and all kinds of crazy stuff. But yeah, there isn't a lot that we would change. Um, I was hoping 2021 would be 2024, so we're kind of 3 years late, and that's a long time because that's double the time I thought it would take to get here. Why? Um, a combination of things take time and plus heavily influenced by the disaster of COVID, I think, to a degree. Right. Crypto still ran through all of that, but a lot of the TradFi people, service providers, issuers, they're nowhere near as fast, dynamic, online, Zoom only or message only that the crypto guys are. So, we've done a great job, I think, trying to balance that out. We haven't Our mission has not changed. It's expanded, but it has not changed at the core. Um, so yeah, I'm just happy that we're still here and the market's finally come to fruition and we've got this great community and people finally get what we've been saying. We've been saying a lot of these things that we've obviously learned a lot. But we have been saying a lot of things we've been saying here for many years that kind of fell on deaf ears. More of a timing issue, really. We were very early. As they say, when you're early, you often take a lot of arrows in the back, which is, I think it's a reference to the first white people in America getting shot by American Indians. But anyway, it's a random story. But anyway, that's how it felt at times. Yeah. But look, we're excited to be here. I think the interest obviously here today is fantastic. We'd love to help people learn more and understand more. We don't know it all, but we do our best to try to guide people and grow and do the right thing and try to bring all these assets to everyone. And the team's been doing a really solid job.
Yes, definitely. I wish I could buy Bitcoin that time, but right now
Well,
it's
actually,
not
I would
possible.
have gone back. I would have gone back, to the guys who bought it at 25 cents. That's what I would have
Yeah,
done at
yeah.
2018.
I think it is a big regret right now, like why I didn't buy the time. Okay. And also, Julian, I think we already discussed about like your IXSwap utilities and also opportunities, but for our audience and also our investor, why should they pay attention of your IXSwap right now?
Yeah, look, I think you want to look at this and just ask yourself some questions, simple questions, right? Um, let's start at the top of this little questionnaire that I'm putting out there as an idea. Which industries in blockchain do you think are real and will be uh, continually growing on bull or bear market, and it's not gambling, right? Again, if we say meme coins are great, what I just said then is not applicable. Will it go on forever? We have no idea. Is there a use case? Sort of, you could argue, but I don't know. Do we do we think that back to what we're doing? real world asset tokenization is a thing and is a big thing. And do we now have enough information from validated third party companies that this is a big deal? Who do I reference? I don't BlackRock, Larry Fink, CEO, Tokenize Everything, Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, whoever it is, Crypto.com, buying broker-dealer licenses. Do we have enough validation from clearly, prominent businesses and business people that this is also true? So it's not just a great idea. That's now true, right? Now let's look at what is the key infrastructure that we think is going to be big in this space. And when we talk about IXSwap, we talk about key infrastructure that everyone needs. Now, not everyone's going to use it, but if you think about the analogy is the picks and shovels. So I don't know, again, another American story, but if you think about the gold rush, there was a gold rush in Australia, so I'll talk about that one. If you talk about the gold rush in Australia, people used to say, if you want to get rich, you don't mine for gold. You sell people the infrastructure they need that everyone's going to need to go and look for gold because everyone's going to go look for gold. So you sell the picks and shovels, they call it. And so what we built and what we think at the highest level is that the businesses in this space that are going to be the biggest are the ones that provide the key infrastructure that everyone needs. Right? Everyone essentially wants to buy and sell RWA eventually. Everyone's going to want liquidity pools who issues tokens. Everyone wants to make sure they don't get ripped off in its legal compliance space. So that's what IXSwap is. And then if you then connect a few more dots, let's look across to cryptocurrency in the DEXs and what happened there. And the volume went from 0 to trillion. Okay. And now these guys are building the same thing for this real asset that's been validated by these massive companies and that has a real product behind it. Then this is probably a good bet to make. I'm betting my entire life on it. You guys can buy some tokens. You could lose those tokens. They could go down. You could sell them again, or they could go up forever. But my point is that, we put our money where our mouth is, as do the co-founders and the rest of the team, working on this nonstop for years and years and years because we believe in it. And I believe in it more now than I did yesterday. And every day I believe in it more. So if you think about also what else is going on in the RWA space, if you're going to build a portfolio of little utility tokens for the RWA platforms, there's different types of companies. There's a lot of new ones, whatever. And, it's also extremely difficult to launch a token these days. It's much easier than ever to launch, but it's much harder to make it successful. And there's a zillion new coins. Exchanges are all, the better ones are extremely expensive. There's still all of the craziness in the market of launching and all these people just trying to make a quick buck. But also, if you really think RWA, the last thing I'd say about RWA is, if you think RWA is great, I think everyone does here, they've just spent time listening to this. If you think, infrastructure captures the biggest play in most industries, that's really true. And if you think that licensing and, is important, well, most people don't have licenses, so we tick that box. And then again, like the reason why we wanted to do this AMA with you guys, Logan and Wise, big in the community, we wanted to do this. This is the longest AMA I've ever done. And I want to do it like this now and moving forward because there's so much to say. There's so much to unpack. And everyone forgets in investing in anything. It's okay, investing in startups. And let's say every blockchain project is a startup, right? Just for simplicity. If you think about the concept of investing in startups, the number one thing people invest into is the team and the people in Web 2 world, right? In Web 3 world, everyone's lost their mind and they all just get lost in this amazing tokenomics and all this big talk and these flashy proposals. And they forget that a bunch of humans need to run this project and go to hell and back to make it successful, to make the token work. So you want to be putting a big part of your bet on the team and the people behind it. And never more is that true in crypto where every second project's a rug pull because no one bothered doing any due diligence on the founders. And do these guys have a clue what they're doing? Are they first time founders or are they experienced? Have they built the right type of team? And in RWA, you need legal, our co-founder, you need private market, private bank experts and DeFi experts like Aaron and you know, CTOs and our teams, T and the team. You need all these things to make it work. Not just the normal startup stuff like a finance person and a marketing person. You now need to add all the DeFi tech and smart contracts and blockchains and AMM, and then you need to add the whole regulatory compliant license. This is like the most complex, difficult business to build in the space because of those key areas that are all required. And memes require none of that, and a lot of NFTs require none of that. They just require the first part with the normal business people. That's probably all I got left in me. That's probably what I've got to say about that. So yeah, I mean, and it's been fully distributed. There's no crazy unlocks coming, and the team is the treasury of the company own the most, and everyone's holding because we feel like we're just getting started. So that's my response. It was a bit long.
Yes, yes, definitely. But no worries. I think people learned a lot of things through this session actually. They have to know about the real world asset and also the current crypto market situation. So for this, I'm really grateful to you, Julian.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us. We've gone long. I think you said there are a couple hundred questions unanswered. We'd love to answer them. Join the community. Start firing out your questions. We're not going to answer 100 back to back non-stop. We've just launched on a new sex. We've just launched a new asset, but we'll answer, and the guys are there. We'll be there. So we'd love to have you all. I really appreciate you hosting today. I had a really good time. Thanks for everyone who joined. Thanks for all the questions. Yeah, it's been great. We hope to see you again soon. Thanks to Wise.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Julian, for your time and wish you good luck for your IXSwap. And also thank you all of our community members for your support actually. And don't forget to join their community and to follow their social. And then if you have any question and queries, just go to their Telegram or Twitter. You can ask there. Thank you, Julian, once again. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.